Tansin itute magtiar Wheatley, Nisigasun, Opasquac Janina. Dawao, welcome to APTN National News. Political tensions are high in the Mohawk community of Kanesatake over allegations of misspent federal funds, but an investigation launched by the most recent Grand Chief has now been dropped. Our reporter Savannah Craig takes us to Kanesatake to show us the latest developments.
It's been 4 years now that investigation has been going on.
Former Kanesatake Grand Chief Victor Bonspiel alleges that chiefs in power before him misspent COVID-19 relief funds. He took this to the provincial police force, the Sûreté du Québec, in 2021.
I have yet to hear from the federal government on what they think about their money being spent.
Bonspiel even flagged the issue to then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at the Assembly of First Nations last year. These charges have now been dropped by the Sûreté du Québec.
It's just another, another black eye to Kanesatake when it comes to the injustice that the federal government and the province has shown to us.
Bonspiel told APTN News the Sûreté's investigator told him the charges were dropped earlier this month. The SQ told APTN News back in April that there had been an ongoing fraud investigation in Kanesatake. However, that investigation was not against the Band Council, but an external agency in Kanesatake.
It was disappointing news that they told us that there was not enough evidence to move forward with charges on anybody, basically due to the fact of Indigenous Services Canada, or ISC, and their policies.
APTN News once again reached out to the SQ. They referred APTN News to the Office of the Director of Criminal and Penal Prosecutions. In an emailed response, Deputy Spokesperson Patricia Johnson said after analyzing the evidence, it was decided to not lay criminal charges.
I'm looking forward to maybe some more peaceful times after this whole mess is over.
Serge Simon was Grand Chief during the time Bonspiel alleges the misspending occurred. Simon says those on council worked hard to protect the community during COVID-19.
They went above and beyond, and they were crucified for it. So I kind of go between the anger I feel about it and the pride that I have that what we accomplished led to us having the lowest per capita death rate than any First Nation in Quebec.
Bonspiel's issue with the former Band Council includes large payments to council members under the Emergency Response Unit, or ERU. Unaudited financial records for the 2020 fiscal year appear to show that Councillor Patricia Mayer received close to $500,000.
Under Labour law, after a certain time, you get time and a half, and if you work, in which they did, during holidays, it was double time. And the hours that they worked, I don't think at the beginning of this anybody had any idea how much work is going to be involved, for how long. You know, a global pandemic could last months or years. And since we have no police force, we have no fire station, the ERU had to fill in some of those roles to a certain point.
Bonspiel is still looking for accountability over the ERU spending, and he wants to take the case to the federal government.
After all, it is federal monies that were sent here, over $5 million. Right now, in my capacity, I can't really do much. I'm waiting for an election.
Bonspiel says he will run again as Grand Chief in the next election. Savannah Craig, APTN National News, Kanesatake, Mohawk Territory.
Tapwagiche Savannah. More information now on the man Winnipeg police allege is behind 22 arsons in the city within the span of 6 months. Police say they aren't closing the chapter on the case yet as they discover more details in their ongoing investigation. Sav Jonesa gives us this report.
One man has been arrested following an investigation into several instances of arson and property damage across central Winnipeg since June. Jesse Wheatland faces 22 criminal charges, including 13 counts of arson causing damage to property, arson with disregard for human life, and multiple break-and-enter offenses.
We feel this is going to give the community a sense of a relief from probably what they've been feeling and experiencing through the summer.
Winnipeg police say the 35-year-old is believed to have acted alone in 22 arsons. 11 locations were damaged, including restaurants, nightclubs, and other buildings. Police are connecting Wheatland to the recent fires at the constituency offices for provincial cabinet ministers Nahanni Fontaine and Bernadette Smith.
The last months have been very uncertain. And in some respects, it has left us feeling a little bit scared and frightened sometimes.
Wheatland appears to be a constituent of Smith's Point Douglas neighborhood, where he was arrested Tuesday on Magnus Avenue shortly after a fire broke out at an addictions treatment center nearby. He has since been connected to that fire. Over the past year, Wheatland shared multiple posts to Facebook groups for the Point Douglas neighborhood. Many of them express opposition to a proposed supervised consumption site, part of Smith's portfolio as addictions minister. Police say they have insight into Wheatland's motives, but could not share them because the investigation is ongoing.
We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work with Manitoba Justice, securing judicial authorizations. There's a lot of evidence still to obtain and work through. So I'm not going to bookend it saying that that this is the end of it, but this is what we know right now.
WPS have confirmed to APTN News that they've connected Wheatland to Sunday's vandalism at the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs building on Portage Avenue. The charges have yet to be proven, and the case is expected to appear in court Tuesday, November 25th. Sav Jonesa, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
Kanehsatake Sav. Nunavut's territorial government and its leadership have just been sworn in. This took place Thursday during the first sitting of the 7th Legislative Assembly of Nunavut. The day started with a prayer and the national anthem. The swearing was led by Commissioner of Nunavut Eva Kamaknak. All members elected in October were sworn in as MLAs for their ridings. They had a choice between swearing on a religious text like the Bible or making a solemn affirmation without religious connotation. 21 MLAs were sworn in. The seat for Agu is empty, as there was a tie there, so another election is needed. After the swearing in, Commissioner Kamaknak called for the swearing in of the Premier, Speaker, and Cabinet.
I congratulate each and every one of you on your accomplishments and wish you well in your important work on behalf of our territory and the people that live in it.
By virtue of authority of my office, I hereby summon the 7th Legislative Assembly of Nunavut to meet for the transaction of business at the hour 1:30 in the afternoon of Thursday, the 20th November 2025.
Our video journalist Justin Hardy will have more on that on our evening news tonight with Dennis Ward. This summer, wildfires tore through several northern Saskatchewan communities, including Denair Beach, just 22 kilometers west of the town of Flin Flon on the Manitoba-Saskatchewan border. Now new homes are being rebuilt for the community for those who lost their residence. Denair Beach is part of Peter Ballantyne Cree Nation. 24 homes are being built in Prince Albert to be moved north, with 21 nearing completion and 2 already finished. The first 2 homes are expected to be transported by the end of next week, with the rest arriving by February. The chief and council thank the displaced band members for their patience and say they hope everyone will be happy with their new homes. And we're always looking for your feedback or story ideas. Here's how you can continue the conversation. If you have a story you want to share, send us an email to news@aptn.ca. To read and watch our stories, go to aptnnews.ca, and you can find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. And we tell you about 2 Dene First Nations in Yellowknife that are finding ways to combat the drug problem in their area. That story when we come back. Cheska. Come on in, Pete de Gué. 2 Dene First Nations in the Northwest Territories are taking matters into their own hands in a new pilot program aimed at keeping drugs, alcohol, and dangerous goods out of their communities. Charlotte Morit-Jacobs brings us that story.
When these planes touch down in the Saskatchewan Northwest Territories, they'll be free of drugs, alcohol, and dangerous goods. Peace of mind for Joseph Toback.
To us, every seizure is a potential life saved. Loss of community members, mothers, fathers, sons who aren't here.
Toback is one of several leaders spearheading a pilot project that sees dogs search luggage and cargo on airplanes leaving Yellowknife and arriving in the isolated communities of Fort Good Hope and Delaney.
We've collaborated and at the direction of the Assembly, given all the concern and the issues around this substance making its way into the communities, we wanted to act, and I think this was like the first step that we found that would be impactful.
Back in May, the Dene Nation held a 2-day forum to discuss the urgent need for community protection and security.
We have challenges with security at some of the small airports.
Discussions on how to tackle the issue of drugs and violence, investing in prevention. Mark Hicks is the guy to call. He worked as an RCMP member for 32 years before running his own crime detection canine business for the last 15.
I work for several Indigenous communities, not just one or two. It takes a while to have them buy into it, but once they see the effect that it's had, we're seeing a huge drop in numbers from spousal assaults and domestic abuse. And we hope that translates into violent crime or sexual assaults or any crime. But we have an opportunity here from this perspective to have a huge effect on the way that things have been done here in the past, change them good for the future.
The RCMP are bound by legal and constitutional constraints, such as requiring reasonable cause before conducting a search without a warrant. But Hicker says it's about education over enforcement, and First Nations having the autonomy to decide how to handle crime. When his team finds dangerous goods and substances, they relay the message to the airline, who in turn lets the community know. The 500-person Kasho-Gotene Dene and Métis community of Fort Good Hope isn't alone. The Delaney-Gotene government has also been using the same canine service since November 10th to keep its 600-person Dene and Métis community safe. Leadership from the DGG were away and unable to comment by airtime, but in a media statement say, this is being done from a health and safety perspective. Freight searches are also being conducted with other airlines from Yellowknife to those two communities. But the momentum can't end here. That's the message Chief of Fort Good Hope, Sean Granjam, says he wants the territorial government to hear.
Upcoming winter, it's going to be opening up there too. So it's getting kind of scary because we're getting a little bit nervous because a lot of the people probably owe money. And all the drug collectors and stuff are going to be coming up, and it's going to be on the winter.
Chief Granjam says the program is costing the First Nation over $40,000 a month, so they will be appealing to the territorial and federal government this winter for support. Charlotte Morit-Jacobs, APTN National News, Yellowknife.
Kanehsatake in Charlotte. The largest winter gathering of its kind is underway in British Columbia's Harrison River Valley. Thousands of birds, including bald eagles, have descended for a visit and a snack, and as CTV's St. John Alexander reports, the show is only expected to get better.
Keeping court way up high, those sharp, piercing eyes are always on the lookout. Of late, they spot an unusual sight. Human types who need tools for better vision seem keen on staring back.
Lived here for 25 years and have never come out. So this is the first time seeing this, and it's incredible.
This, we're told, is just the beginning. Eagles everywhere, packing the sandy beaches of the Harrison River like tourists in a resort. How many? Well, good luck counting.
No, you've got to come and observe this. Like, I don't know, how many eagles do you think we have out there? Hundreds.
Every year between November and February, they book flights out of the north to escape the cold for warmer weather and stock up on BC salmon.
You know, it's just beautiful to see them in the wild and think of the journey that they've taken.
In fact, even more are expected. Some have seen thousands move through the region.
It's a little early right now. The water is pretty high. it gets better. The eagles come in closer when the water is low.
I mean, this is nature and it's best.
Glorious place, glorious. Bring a set of binoculars, a good camera if you have one. It's just amazing.
Now this amazement is about a 2-hour drive from Vancouver, but for those who don't need tools to travel, in a blink of an eye. St. John Alexander, CTV News on Harrison Link.
Imagine all the eagle feathers there on the ground. St. John, you need to get me one. And it's Friday, and that means we have a brand new preview of what's coming up on this evening's edition of Nouvelle Nationale. Kim Sullivan joins us now from Montreal. Tansi, Kim.
Hey there. Well, we have exclusive numbers from the Missing Children's Network after a number of Indigenous children have gone missing from our communities. Many found, thank goodness. But the stats do show disparities that we will share with you tonight. We also speak about the Ombudsman's report on the implementation of the calls to action of the VIA Commission, and one of our own, the one and only Florent Vallant, intronized in the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame. Join us for all of that tonight, 6:30 Eastern.
Tapwagi Kim. We now want to tell you about this week's web poll questions. Our first question was, does the Kawichitan ruling concern you about private land ownership in Canada? Your options are yes, no, and unsure. Our second question was, do you support the proposed expansion of the Port of Churchill? Again, those options for that are yes, no, and unsure. And then our last question this week is, should someone convicted of multiple homicides of Indigenous people have to serve consecutive life sentences rather than concurrent? So those options you have are yes, they should serve sentences one after another. The other is no, they should serve sentences at the same time, or you're unsure. You can go to our website, aptnnews.ca/poll to cast your ballot. And we tell you about an interesting documentary about a roller derby team. Hear from the filmmaker in a couple of minutes. Cheskwa. Wow, welcome back. Starting on the East Coast, St. John 6, Charlottetown 5. Kuujjuaq -1, Nain 2 degrees. Chibougamau -1, Quebec City 0. North Bay 3, Sault Ste. Marie also 3. Sioux Lookout -2, Kapuskasing 0. Over to the middle, Churchill -8, Puckatawagan -6. Barons River -3, Brandon -2. North Battleford -8, Regina 0. Uranium City -6, Meadow Lake -9. Moving west, Peace River -6, Grand Prairie 6 and sunny. Edmonton 5, Calgary 6. Bella Coola 0, Campbell River 8. Dease Lake -4, Prince Rupert 6. Moving up north, Rock River -8, Beaver Creek -12. Norman Wells -7, Wati -7 as well. Inuvik -10, Colville Lake -11. Baker Lake -12, Whale Cove -1. Arctic Bay -18, and Igloolik -12. A groundbreaking Indigenous roller derby team featuring athletes from over 30 nations is the focus of a new documentary by Kahnawake filmmaker Courtney Montour. Rising Through the Fray follows the Indigenous rising team as they try to change the face of the game. The film is set to have 2 screenings at the upcoming Montreal International Film Festival. For more on the documentary, we're joined by Courtney Montour. Courtney, thanks for being with us. Before we get into your documentary, can you tell us a bit about the Indigenous Rising Roller Derby team?
Yeah, so the team is made up of Indigenous women from over 30 nations across North America, and they came out in 2018 at the Roller Derby World Cup in Manchester in the UK as the first borderless team, so it was a groundbreaking moment.
Why did you think the team would make for a compelling feature?
I mean, I think it's so important. So in the sport, to be the first one to come out as a team to be like, you know what, we're going to the World Cup. We don't want to be defined by these colonial country borders, that we want to represent our nations. So they're the first team to come together to do that, and that's historic. And I think we need to celebrate that. And plus, it just has an impact as a whole on identity, community, connection, and representation that I think many people can relate to.
Absolutely, that's so exciting. And yourself, are you big into roller derby, and do you lace up the skates?
I absolutely love roller derby. I'm Kanehsatake from Kanesatake, just outside of Montreal, and Montreal is a massive roller derby hub. So I have been going to games for years, and it's really a sense of community. And for people who don't know what roller derby is, it's two teams on a flat track, and it's highly competitive. It's a full contact sport, and it's on skates. So it's just incredible to watch.
Rising through the fray focuses on a few teammates, including Sour Cherry, Crispy, and Hawaiian Blaze, cool names by the way, who have been disconnected from their culture and identities. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, so Crispy is from the Cherokee Nation. Hawaiian Blaze is from Hawaii, but lives in New York. And Sour Cherry lives in Edmonton and is from the Saulteaux Nation. And I think it's just really important that they all have very different stories of disconnection from their communities and their identities. And so following them in their personal home lives really gives that intimate perspective of why it's so important for a team like Indigenous Rising Roller Derby to exist. Through the team, they've been able to feel that sense of pride and start their journeys of reconnecting with their culture and identities.
Aside from the Montreal International Film Festival, where will people be able to watch the documentary?
Yeah, it is exciting that we're having our Quebec premiere in Montreal at RIDM, and that's this weekend, Friday and on Sunday. It's also going to be playing at Indigenous Nation the following Saturday, November 29th in Montreal as well. And it's hitting the festival circuit. So all of our festivals are on risingthemovie.com. And we're just really excited to, have it get out there in the world. And Sour Cherry is going to be in Montreal this weekend, traveling from Edmonton to join me for the RIDM screening. So that's really special too.
And briefly here, before we go, tell me a little bit about what's next for you.
I'm working on some new personal documentary projects and just in the research stage. So I'm excited to launch into that next year.
Absolutely, and looking forward to what's next for you. I just want to thank you for your time today.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one. And that's your APTN National News Daytime Cast for this Friday, November 21st. It's Friday, whoop whoop. Dennis is back at 6 p.m. Eastern. Until then, from all of us at APTN to all of you, Agase, Gitam, Kikawapa Mitinano.